So good morning to all. So in this video we will be looking at Newton's law of gravitation, or we call it as universal law of gravitation. Okay, so in this Newton's universal law of gravitation, so it states that every particle in the universe exert a force on every other particle along the line joining their centers. Okay, so here for an example, let me take one particle. All right, so I'm taking one particle and the mass of this particle is m1. Just like that, I'm taking another one particle, all right, and the mass is m2. Sure. Now, according to this Newton's universal law of gravitation, so here the magnitude of the force, either this particle applied towards this m2, object particle m2, or this particular particle towards this particle, so either is same. So let's consider this particular particle with a mass m1. So the force applied by this particle towards this particle, so let's say the force applied by this particle is F1. Just like that, there is another one force which is applied by the second particle towards the first particle. Let's say the force is F2, right? So here Newton's law of gravitation states that the force F1, that is the force applied by the first particle, is equal to force F2, that is nothing but the force applied by the second particle, and this force is directly proportional to, all right, so this force is directly proportional to the mass of, that is the product of the masses of these two particles. So here the mass is m1, the mass of first particle, and the mass of second particle is m2. So I'm taking the product of, that is m1 into m2. So this divided by the distance between these two particles. Let's consider the center of this particle and the center of this particle, and the distance between these two particles is line joining the centers of these two particles, and the distance is, I consider it as r, right? So the force is equal, directly proportional to the product of their masses divided by the square of the distance between these two objects. So this is called Newton's law of gravitation. I hope you people understand this better. So thank you so much for watching this.